Okay, we are now live and on the record for Thursday afternoon's criminal docket, February 10th, 2022. And let me go ahead and get started with quick announcements. Mr. Patino?
Yes, good afternoon, Judge. I have number 32 on the court's criminal docket. This is set for a plea, Judge.
Okay, CR 2102-787-I, and is Ms. Vasquez present?
She is, Your Honor, she should be. I think I saw her
Okay.
earlier.
Okay, I'm gonna do the pleas just momentarily, so I'll recall your case.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Alvarez?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Al Alvarez, I have Ernesto Alonso Morales on 4 cases and Rito Molina on 2 cases.
Okay, and is Mr. Morales present?
He's in jail, Judge, and he's awaiting a felony.
Okay. I only have the female unit on. All right, I'll go ahead and take your announcement. I'm not sure if they're running behind or not. So Ernesto Morales, he's on CR 21-00854-I, CR 21-05828-I, CR 20-05859-I, CR 21-00853-I, CR 21-00855-I. And your announcement, Counselor, is?
We're asking for a trial date, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead and file your order setting jury trial. And
Yes,
we'll
sure.
get that set for you.
Okay.
And then your other case is,
Rito Molina Jr.
okay, that's CR 20-08405-I, CR 21-02968-I. And are you also on his other 2 cases that Ms. Connett was appointed to?
I can take him on, Your Honor. He's a retained client.
Okay, if you want to get the cause numbers, it's CR 22-00848-I and CR 22-00849-I. You'll need to file motions for substitution of counsel on those 2 and also notices of appearance. Now on those 2 that I just gave you, he's set for arraignment. But they're not on, so I don't know if you want to get a waiver or we can see at the next setting, we can go ahead and arraign them.
We can arraign at the next setting, Your Honor.
Okay, you're still requesting jury trials?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, only because I don't want to lose the arraignment so that we can arraign them. I'll go ahead and give you February the 22nd at 1:30. And then after that, we'll just go ahead and have you file your order setting jury trial, and then we'll get it set.
Very good, Your Honor. Thank you. That's all I have. May I be excused?
You certainly may.
And Your Honor, I'm on and I will log off with the court's permission.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Osuna?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Jose Osuna for the record. We have number 14 and number 15, both style state of Texas versus Guatemoc Rodriguez. Those are CR 20-08569I, CR 21-01088I. Mr. Rodriguez has a felony out of the 139th. That felony set from March 9th. We do anticipate plea bargaining on that date or entering into a plea bargain on that date. We would humbly ask for a date following March 9th, Your Honor.
Okay, the jail just came on. Hold on.
Yes, Your Honor.
Deputy?
Yes,
For the
ma'am.
mail section? Okay, can you bring up Guatemoc Rodriguez, please? Okay, you said that felony was set for March the what? I'm sorry?
March 9th, Your Honor.
Okay, then let's go ahead and on March the 10th
Yes, Your Honor.
at 1:30.
Okay.
Okay. He's excused, Deputy? And also the other two that are excused are Ernesto Morales and Rito Molina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Osuna, your next case?
Nothing further, Your Honor. May I be excused?
You certainly may.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Maldonado?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay,
Santos
you,
Maldonado. I
Okay.
represent Javier Zuniga, who is in custody, Judge.
okay, Deputy, if I can please have Javier Zuniga up to the camera? Javier, you're on mute, Deputy. I'm not sure if you were trying to say something.
Javier Zúñiga.
Yes.
Javier Zúñiga, pásale. En español. He's a Spanish speaker, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, what is your announcement, Counselor?
Your Honor, we have filed motions to reduce bond in both of these cases. One of the case is an indecent exposure, which the bond is set at 10,000 cash or surety. And the other one is resisting arrest, which also has a bond of 10,000 cash or surety. These arrests stem from August 23rd, 2021. My client was subsequently arrested for a sexual assault of a child. The allegation, the bond in that case was originally set at 100,000. However, through a writ filed in the 332nd District Court, the judge reduced the bond to 40,000 with AIP as a condition. However, my client still remains in custody. I have discussed this matter by email with the prosecutors, and they have agreed to or recommend a lower reduction. However, I don't believe my client would be able to post that bond anyway. What we're asking from the court is we're asking the court to consider setting a PR bond with the AIP conditions that have previously been set in the other bond out of the 332nd. That bond still has not been posted, Judge. If the court would like, I'd like to proffer some information regarding my client.
Go ahead.
Yes, looking for my notes. My client is a citizen of the United States, Your Honor. He lives with his wife, and he has a son who I believe is 14 years old. They live in well, this is not my correct note, but they live in Mercedes. He is the head of the household. His wife is not employed. She stays home, takes care of the family there in the house. My client is self-employed. He's had a business of cleaning swimming pools for quite some time. His wife tells me that, you know, he still has clients calling him for service, even though this is a slow time of the season for swimming pool cleaning. He like I said, he is married. They have lived in Weslaco for over 10 years and lived there with his wife, together with his wife for approximately 14 years in total. All his family are living in this area. They're in the Weslaco and Mercedes area, Judge. And for these reasons, we're asking the court to consider reducing the bond to a PR bond in both cases with these conditions.
Okay, can I hear from the state on this?
Judge, that's correct. We spoke to defense counsel and are recommending a 4,000 cash surety bond on the indecent exposure with condition of stay away from victim Maria Guadalupe Sanchez, as well as AEP, and a 2,000 cash surety bond on the resisting arrest with conditions of AEP.
If I can inquire, Judge, excuse me for interrupting. The lady that they mentioned, Maria Guadalupe, I think they said Gonzalez.
Sanchez.
Sanchez, I'm sorry, Judge. I'm not sure if she is a witness in the indecent exposure charge, but that's probably a neighbor. My limited information regarding that is that my client was urinating between two vehicles at his property when the police were called. I don't know if these are substantially true corrects, but that's the information I'm getting. And that Ms. Sanchez is probably the neighbor who subsequently called the police.
I'm not sure. Mr. Sosa, is there a reason why it's on that lady that he needs to stay away?
Judge, it's her neighbor, and that's correct. He exposed himself outside of his house, and that was the basis of the offense for the indecent exposure.
Okay, so then it's just, the state is asking for him to stay away from her, like for how many yards?
I mean, I'm not sure how close they are together, but just no contact with her.
Okay, all right, got it. Okay, in consideration of what has been proffered on the record and taking into the state's recommendation, the court will grant your motion for reduction of bond. However, on the indecent exposure, the Class B misdemeanor, the cash surety bond will be reduced to $4,000. And on the resisting arrest, search, or transport, the Class A misdemeanor, the recommendation of the state was what?
2,000 cash surety, Your Honor.
A cash surety of $2,000. And also with the conditions of AIP on CR 21-12197-I, and also no contact with Maria Guadalupe Sanchez.
Your Honor, I just wanted to make sure the court understood that I don't believe my client can post these bonds at this time. He has not been able to post the other bond. I just want to make sure that the court understood that. We knew that this was the recommendation from the state, but we're still asking the court for a PR bond.
I'm not going to give a PR bond on the indecent exposure. I'll go ahead and reconsider on the resisting arrest, search, or transport, and I'll do a PR $2,000 PR bond on that.
Yes, Judge, thank you for your consideration. That's all we
Okay.
have.
All right. If nothing further, Mr. Zuniga is excused.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Aguilar,
Yes, hi, good afternoon, Your Honor.
good afternoon, sir.
I have Efraín Martinez, Your Honor.
Okay, what's the number?
On the docket, I'm not sure, Your Honor. Do you
23,
need the
Judge.
case number?
Number 23. Hold on, I'm getting some feedback from somewhere. Okay. Okay, it is CR 20-03322-I. Efraín Martinez, I do see him on the screen. Mr. Martinez, please leave your camera on. Thank you. What is your announcement, Counselor?
On this one, Your Honor, we just need a short reason. The state had provided to us this month, this week actually, on the 7th, a better plea bargain for my client, and he agrees to the newest plea bargain. And we just need maybe a week or two, Your Honor, to sign the most recent newest plea deal so we can plea him out.
Okay, the 15th or the no, we can do the 17th or the 24th, right, Ms. Rivera, the 24th?
This month, Your Honor, right?
Okay,
Okay,
17th or 24th?
24th, Your Honor, just to make sure we have enough time.
Okay, February 24th at 1:30.
1:30. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, you and your client are excused.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Gutierrez?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I have numbers 19 and 20 on the docket. Alexander Contreras Jr., and he is the Galaxy S9.
Yes, I see him. CR 1908988-I, CR 21-00100-I. Were the alleged victims able to get on?
Your Honor, I don't believe so.
Okay. On CR 1908988-I, the state, who is the alleged victim?
Antonio Contreras.
Okay, was Mr. Contreras, did he say that whether or not he would be on today?
Yes, Judge, that's correct.
Okay, so he said that he would be on.
No, well, I sent him the link via text.
Okay,
He didn't answer. I left a voicemail as well. So I wouldn't know if he, if he would be able to make it.
okay, well, he's not on, and I believe this is the third time that he hasn't presented himself. So how are we gonna proceed with this?
Judge, if the state can have some time to staff it to see whether maybe we can proceed on a bench trial or consider other alternatives.
Your Honor, I would ask for a bench trial if the state is not prepared to dismiss. They do have affidavits of non-prosecution in their files on both of the cases. So for some reason, they want also, in addition to that, the victim's testimony, and I respect that. However, this is the third time that we've been here, so we would be asking for a bench trial, not for time to see if the state would do a bench trial. Let's just set it for a bench trial.
Okay, Ms. Lozano, do you want to make an announcement?
Judge, we wouldn't have an issue with that if that is their circumstances, which I believe that's what ADA Sosa has also stated, that he did notify the victim and they were told to appear today. If this is in fact the third time, which we don't doubt that it is, we would be unopposed to a bench trial at this time.
Okay, and that's also the same, I believe, on CR 21-00100-5. The alleged victim is who on that, Mr. Sosa?
Andres Jasso, and on him, Judge, he did confirm that he would attend. I'm not sure if he's on.
Andres Hasso, I didn't see anybody on here by that name.
Okay, Judge.
Okay, so Ms. Rivera, can I get a date for a bench trial on those two?
Yes, Judge, we do have, would that be in person, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay, that's going to be March the 3rd at 1:30.
March 3rd at 1:30, Ms. Gutierrez, you and your client would report to the courtroom of County Court 4. We will be borrowing that courtroom.
County Court 4, very well, Your Honor. Well, I'll make sure my client makes arrangements with his employer.
Okay, we'll see you then, Alexander. Hopefully we can conclude it by that time.
Well, I have a question. So this would have been over by now. They just had to appear.
Yes,
Okay.
They're his brothers, Your Honor.
I understand, but I recall that he stated that there's some issues with his family. So, I mean, hopefully it should be done. Hopefully by the next setting, Mr. Contreras.
And
Thank you, Your Honor.
It'll be like gone. All right.
Ms. Gutierrez will explain it to you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
May we be excused, Your Honor?
You certainly may.
Thank you. Mr.
All right,
Contreras.
Mr. Bustos? Mr. Bustos?
Yes, Judge. Thank you, Judge. Judge, I got a couple of cases on your docket, Judge, but first, I'm standing in for Rosario.
I'm sorry?
1 minute, Judge. Let me look at the.
I see that you have a jail case. Deputy, we can bring up Julian Dominguez.
Yes, Judge.
Okay. CR 22-00227-I and CR 18-11848-I. And what is your announcement, Counselor?
Judge, we're set, ready to plead for a plea of guilty, Judge, on both individuals.
Okay, I'm gonna take up that plea momentarily. I'm just gonna finish up with quick announcements, so just be on standby. And you also have CR 21-12234-I, Darlene Jimenez, deputy from the female section. Okay, and what is your announcement on this, Counselor?
On that, Judge, we have a plea of guilty, ready to go whenever the court's ready to take that up, Judge.
Okay, just be on standby. I just need 1 or 2 more announcements and then we'll take you up.
Judge, and just for the court's record, I'm standing for Albert.
I'm sorry, what's the name of the defendant?
Michelle Rodriguez, Judge.
27, Your Honor.
Okay, that's CR 18-06-526-I. Michelle Rodriguez. Is Ms. Rodriguez present?
Yes,
Okay. All right, and what is the announcement, Counselor?
Announcement on behalf of Attorney Osario, Judge. He just needs a little more time. He was supposed to be here, but he's on the road, Judge. So he needs a little more time to work out with the DA, potentially PTD prospect, Judge.
Okay, I'm not sure if she's eligible for PTD. Mr. Sosa, do you have that?
Judge, a deadline of August 19th was given and not met, so PTD has to be denied.
Mr. Bustos, let him know that the deadline passed on in August of 2021. So he would have to ask for reconsideration of extension of that deadline. If they'll give it to him, then she can apply for PTD.
Thank you,
But
Judge.
so far, and Ms. Soto, do you have a report on Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, Judge, she has her devices overset and there's no violations.
Okay. All right, Michelle, I see that you're still traveling. How's the
Yeah,
weather there?
I'm still in Tennessee, so
You're still there? Is it still
Yeah.
cold?
yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, well, hang in there. Mr. Osorio will get in touch with you and see if you're gonna apply for PTD or if he's going to, what it is that he's gonna do on your case, so.
Yeah, because it's coming up on 5 years that I don't know.
Yeah, that's probably a conversation you need to have with your attorney, so. I'm gonna have her come back on, he needs to decide what he wants to do by March the 10th at 1:30. If he's gonna apply for PTD, he needs to ask for that extension and it needs to be done before that date, please.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, be on standby for your other cases.
Yes, ma'am.
Michelle, can you give me your phone number again?
Yes, ma'am. It's area code 956-532-0808.
Okay, safe travels to you. We'll see you on March the 10th.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay, any other quick announcements before I get started with the pleas? Mr. Trejo. Attorney Lauro Trejo.
Afternoon, Judge. I have number 26, State of Texas versus Orlando, Ivan Reyes, and we're present and ready for a plea when the court's ready.
Okay, we're ready now. Is Orlando Reyes present with you or is he on Zoom?
He's right here, Judge.
All right. Okay, so deputy from the mail section, please bring up Julian Dominguez. Mr. Bustos, is Mr. Dominguez English speaking or Spanish speaking?
I believe he's Spanish speaking, Judge.
Okay.
English?
English, ma'am. English,
Oh,
ma'am, sorry.
English. Okay. Deputy from the female section, please bring up Darlene Jimenez. Is Miss Jimenez English speaking or Spanish speaking?
English, Judge.
Okay.
She said Spanish.
I had it mixed up, Judge, yes.
Okay. And then I have, Orlando Reyes, Mr. Trejo, Ms. Garza, your client Daniel Nava, is he present?
Presente.
Yes, Judge, I believe he's under Daniel Zapata, which is his other last name.
Okay, and he's also Spanish speaking, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. De Ochoa, you have Juventina Sanchez?
Yes, Your Honor, 28 and 29 Spanish speaking, and
Okay,
he's present.
all right. And then, Mr. Patino, you have Giselle Vasquez.
That's correct. You're on number 32.
Okay, Ms. Vasquez, please make sure that you are unmuted.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ms. Castañeda, for the Spanish speakers, please let them know to unmute themselves.
Por favor, pueden prender su bocina, los que voy a traducir en español.
All right. Have them raise their right hand.
Por favor, levante su mano derecha.
Do you swear that the testimony that you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Juran que el testimonio que están a punto de dar es la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad.
Ms. Darlene Jimenez, yes or no?
¿Jiménez? ¿Sí o no?
Yes.
Ma'am, if you ask for Spanish translation, you must answer in Spanish. Otherwise, you will be in English. Would you prefer English or Spanish?
Español.
Okay, then, sí o no?
Sí.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Mr. Juventino Sanchez?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Dominguez, yes or no? Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Sí.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you need to pay attention, please, or I'm gonna skip you. All right, Mr. Reyes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Vasquez, yes or no?
Yes.
All of you may lower your, and I'm sorry, and Mr. Zapata. Ms. Castaneda, please ask Mr. Nava. Senor Nava,
Sorry, Judge, can I interrupt? What is Mr. Zapata listed as? What is his
as
name?
Daniel Nava.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Castaneda, please translate for Mr. Nava.
Señor Nava, jura que el testimonio que está a punto de dar es la verdad, toda la verdad y nada más que la verdad.
Sí.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, everyone can lower their hands. Ms. Castaneda.
¿Pueden bajar su mano?
In CR 22-00227-I, CR 1811848-I, State of Texas versus Julian Gutierrez Dominguez. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're being charged with driving while intoxicated. Second, a Class A misdemeanor, and a driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. I will explain shortly your range of punishment for that. In CR 21-12234-I, State of Texas versus Darlene Jimenez. Is that your true and correct name?
En el estado de Texas, en contra de Darlene Jiménez, ¿ese es su nombre correcto y verdadero?
Sí.
Yes.
And she is being charged with driving while intoxicated with a blood alcohol level of greater or equal to a 0.15, a Class A misdemeanor.
Está usted frente a la corte por un cargo de manejar en estado de ebriedad con una concentración de alcohol mayor de 0.15, que es un delito, una ofensa menor clase A.
Sí.
In CR 17-06607-I, State of Texas versus Daniel Nava. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
En el estado de Texas, en contra de Daniel Nava, ¿ese es su nombre correcto y verdadero?
Sí, Daniel Zapata.
Daniel Zapata.
Well, what is Nava?
¿De dónde? ¿Qué es Nava?
Daniel Zapata Nava. Es mi segundo apellido.
Daniel Zapata Nava.
Okay. Well, he was already arraigned under Daniel Nava, so it's a moot point. He's being charged with driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor.
Está usted frente a la corte por un cargo de manejar en estado de ebriedad, una ofensa menor clase B.
In CR 20-03663-I, State of Texas versus Orlando Ivan Reyes, you're being charged. Is that your true and correct name, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're being charged with possession of marijuana of less than 2 ounces, a Class B misdemeanor. In CR 21-03138-I, is your true and correct name Juventino Sanchez?
En el estado de Texas contra Juventino Sánchez, ¿ese es su nombre correcto y verdadero?
Sí.
Yes.
He is being charged with driving while intoxicated with a blood alcohol level of greater or equal to 0.15, a Class A misdemeanor.
Está usted frente a la corte por un cargo de manejar en estado de ebriedad con una concentración de alcohol mayor de 0.15, una ofensa menor clase A.
In CR 21-02787-I, State of Texas versus Giselle Vasquez. Is that your true and correct name, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
You're being charged with driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. If for those defendants with a Class B misdemeanor, the Class B misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 6 months in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $2,000 fine upon conviction. For those defendants with a Class A misdemeanor carries a potential penalty of up to 1 year in Hidalgo County Jail and up to a $4,000 fine upon conviction. Do you understand the range of punishment that you can receive for the offense of which you are charged? Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Reyes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Vasquez, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Ms. Castañeda, please translate the range of punishment.
A los defendientes que tienen una ofensa menor clase B, una ofensa menor clase B tiene una multa potencial de hasta 6 meses en la cárcel del condado de Hidalgo y una multa de hasta $2,000 por convicción. Para los que tienen una ofensa menor clase A, una ofensa menor clase A tiene una multa potencial de hasta 1 año en la cárcel del condado de Hidalgo y hasta una multa de hasta $4,000 por convicción. ¿Entienden ustedes el rango de castigo que pueden recibir por el delito que están acusados?
Mr. Nava, yes or no?
Señor Nava, ¿sí o no?
Yes, sí.
Yes.
Ms. Jimenez, yes or no?
Ms. Jimenez, ¿sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
Mr. Sanchez, yes or no?
Señor Sánchez, ¿sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. All of you have the right to an attorney and the right to a trial by jury. You can waive one or both of those rights by signing a written document with the court. At this time, I will ask you if you had an opportunity to review the document with your attorney before signing it. Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reyes, yes or no?
Yes.
And Ms. Vasquez, yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Castañeda, please translate.
Que todos ustedes tienen el derecho de un abogado y el derecho para un juicio por jurado, pero pueden renunciar a uno o a los dos de sus derechos firmando un documento con esta corte. ¿Tuvieron ustedes una oportunidad de revisar esos documentos con su abogado antes de firmar?
Ms. Jimenez, yes or no?
Ms. Jiménez, ¿sí o no?
No.
No.
Okay. She didn't review the documents at the time that she signed it. Is that what she's saying?
¿Está diciendo usted que no revisó los documentos?
No, solo me dijeron que firmara.
No, they only told me to sign.
Okay, I'm not sure if she's understanding what's happening, Mr. Bustos.
Judge, if we can, Judge, she was explained the nature of the offense, the rights, and how she wanted to forego that. If she wants to say that she doesn't understand, I can go back out there and explain it to her, Judge. And we can set up for next week if we're more comfortable.
Well, I mean, it's up to her, really. So, Ms. Jimenez, is she requesting for her attorney to go out there again and explain to her again the documents?
Ms. Jiménez, ¿está usted pidiendo que su abogado vaya a verla otra vez para que le explique otra vez los documentos?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay, then she'll be reset to February the 15th at 1:30.
Su próxima corte es el día 15 a la 1:30.
Okay, Mr. Nava, did you have an opportunity to review the documents with your attorney before signing it? Yes or no?
Señor Nava, ¿tuvo usted una oportunidad de revisar esos documentos con su abogado antes de firmar, sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
And Mr. Sanchez?
Mr. Sánchez, ¿tuvo usted una oportunidad de revisar los documentos con su abogado antes de firmar, sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
On Darlene Jimenez, Mr. Sosa, are you showing that there's an ice hold on her?
1 second, Judge. Yes, Judge, I'm seeing an ice detainer.
Okay. It could also be, Mr. Bustos, that she's delaying the process of being transported, so. Okay, did each of you understand when you signed the document that you were waiving your right to a trial by jury? Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reyes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Vasquez, yes or no?
Yes.
Ms. Castañeda, please translate.
Cada uno de ustedes entiende que cuando firmaron ese documento que estaban renunciando a su derecho de un juicio por jurado.
Mr. Nava, yes or no?
Señor Nava, sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
And Mr. Sanchez, yes or no?
Señor Sánchez, sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
Okay. Then the court will accept your waiver of trial by jury. Has any court ever declared you to be mentally incompetent, crazy, or insane? Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Come again, Your Honor, sorry.
No, I was talking to Mr. Dominguez.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Reyes, yes or no?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Vasquez, yes or no? Ms. Vasquez, I'm sorry, Giselle?
No.
Okay. And Ms. Castañeda, please translate for Mr. Nava and Mr. Sanchez.
¿Alguna corte alguna vez los ha declarado mentalmente incompetentes, loco o demente?
No.
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 No for Mr. Sanchez and no for Mr. Nava. Okay. Counselors, in speaking with your clients, do you find them to be mentally competent and able to assist you in their own defense? Mr. Patino, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bustos,
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Garza,
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. De Ochoa,
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Trejo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then the court will make a finding that all of the defendants before the court are mentally competent and able to assist their attorneys in their own defense. Do each of you further understand that if the punishment that I assess does not exceed what's recommended by the state, you will need this court's permission if you decide to file an appeal? Do you understand that, Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reyes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Vasquez, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Castañeda, please translate.
Cada uno de ustedes entiende que si el castigo que voy a evaluar, si el castigo no excede la recomendación del Estado, ustedes van a necesitar el permiso de esta corte si usted decide presentar una apelación. ¿Entiende eso sí o no, Mr. Nava?
Sí.
Yes. Mr. Sanchez?
Sí.
Yes.
Do you further understand that the court does not have to accept the state's recommendation? Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reyes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Vasquez, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Castañeda?
También entiende que la corte no tiene que aceptar la recomendación del Estado. Mr. Nava, sí o no?
Sí.
Yes. Mr. Sanchez, sí o no?
Sí.
Yes.
At this time, I need to ask you if you are a U.S. citizen. Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reyes, yes or no? Mr. Reyes
Yes, ma'am.
and Ms. Vasquez.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Castañeda, please translate.
Señor Nava, ¿es usted ciudadano americano?
No.
No.
Okay, and
Señor
Mr.
Sánchez,
Sanchez,
¿es usted? I'm sorry, ma'am.
go ahead.
Señor Sánchez, ¿es usted ciudadano americano?
No.
No.
If you're not a U.S. citizen, then entering a plea or no contest will result in your deportation, exclusion, or admission from our country and denial of naturalization under U.S. federal law. Do you understand the consequences of your plea today?
Si usted no es ciudadano americano, entonces esta petición va a resultar en su deportación, expulsión de este país y negación de la naturalización. ¿Entiende usted las consecuencias de su petición?
Sí.
Mr. Nava said
Sí.
yes. Mr. Sanchez, yes.
Sí.
And so do you still want to move forward today, understanding and knowing the consequences of your plea?
Y sabiendo las consecuencias, quieren proceder hoy con su petición. Mr. Nava,
Sí.
yes. Mr. Sanchez,
Sí.
yes.
Okay. And CR 22-00227-I and CR 18-11848-I in the state of Texas versus Julian Gutierrez Dominguez to the offense of driving while intoxicated second, a Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
And to driving while intoxicated, the Class B misdemeanor, how do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
If I may, that's an MTR, the first DWI.
Which one?
CR 18-11-848I.
Okay. I apologize then. And CR 18-11848-I to are you the same defendant that has violated the conditions of your probation, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
And are you pleading true today, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
In CR 17-06607-I, State of Texas versus Daniel Nava to the offense of driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
En el estado de Texas contra Daniel Nava por un cargo de manejar en estado de ebriedad, una ofensa menor clase B, ¿cómo se declara culpable o no culpable?
Culpable.
Guilty.
In CR 20-03663-I, the State of Texas versus Orlando Ivan Reyes to the offense of possession of marijuana of less than 2 ounces, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In CR 21-03138-I, State of Texas versus Juventino Sanchez to the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood alcohol level of greater or equal to 0.15, a Class B misdemeanor, Class A misdemeanor. How do you plead, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
En el estado de Texas contra Juventino Sánchez por un cargo de manejar en estado de ebriedad con una concentración de alcohol mayor de 0.15, una ofensa menor clase A, ¿cómo se declara culpable o no culpable?
Culpable.
Guilty.
In CR 21-02787-I, State of Texas versus Giselle Vasquez to the offense of driving while intoxicated, a Class B misdemeanor. How do you plead, ma'am? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
And are all of you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily? Mr. Dominguez, yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Reyes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Vasquez, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you also pleading true, Mr. Dominguez, freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Castañeda?
Mr. Nava y Mr. Sánchez, ¿se están declarando usted culpable libre y voluntariamente? Mr. Nava?
Sí.
Yes. Mr. Sánchez?
Sí.
Yes.
Then the court will accept your pleas as being freely and voluntarily given. I will call for state's evidence at this time.
Yes, Your Honor. State offers plea documents and offense reports as States Exhibit 1, notification and certification, defendant's right of appeal, States Exhibit 2, waiver of Article 39.14 disclosures as States Exhibit 3, and waiver of risks and needs assessment as States Exhibit 4. State would request defense counsel stipulate to venue and jurisdiction of this honorable court. Further, state would request defense counsel stipulate to the fact that all evidence which has been e-filed is sufficient to corroborate today's pleas of guilty.
Okay, and as to the MTR?
Forgive me, Judge.
You just have to add that he's the same.
State offer waiver of rights, consent to stipulation of evidence, and plea of true to state's motion to revoke. State's Exhibit 1, state also requests defense counsel stipulate that he is the same defendant who was previously placed on probation.
Okay, Mr. Bustos, any objections? You're on mute.
Sorry about that, Judge. You would think that I know how to work this by this time, but so agree to stipulate the venue and jurisdictions on the report. No objection to exhibits being presented by the state of Texas judge, and we do stipulate that Mr. Dominguez is one of the same who was placed on probation at a previous time from his honorable court.
Okay, Mr. Patino?
Your Honor, same announcement.
All right, Ms. Garza?
Same announcement, Your Honor, as to Mr. Nava.
And Ms. De Ochoa?
Same announcement as to Mr. Sanchez.
Mr. Trejo?
Same announcement, Your Honor.
There being no objections from defense counsel as to the exhibits are hereby admitted and approved. In CR 22-00227-I, the state of Texas versus Julian Gutierrez Dominguez, it is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. What is the state's recommendation?
Yes, Judge, state respectfully recommends a $100 fine, court costs, 1 year Hidalgo County Jail, probated over 2 years, repeat offender program, a mobile alcohol monitoring device for 1 year, a MAD impact panel, 5 days post-conviction at Hidalgo County Jail, and 1 year Texas driver license suspension, as well as open restitution. Judge, as to the restitution, defendant struck a white inmate ban per FAR Police Department's records. However, there doesn't exist a crash report. So if we can just leave it open and I can do some investigation as to the victim, the state would appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Bustos, any questions or consideration or requests on behalf of your client?
Yeah, no, we'd have some consideration of court costs and fines, Judge, and some leniency on the alcohol monitoring device. It's been issued for 1 year, or the one that's potentially will be issued for 1 year. He has been in custody for some time, Judge. He's remorseful. He's learned his lesson, Judge, and we'd ask that the restitution not be ordered since there's no police report, Judge.
Okay, so his fine and court costs will be waived, and the rest of the recommendation I will follow. And his Texas driver's license suspension can be run concurrent with any suspension he may have had for his administrative suspension. And I do need a restitution hearing date.
It'll be March the 10th, Your Honor.
March 10th at what time?
9:30, Judge.
9:30, okay. And also, Mr. Dominguez, you are to obtain that mobile alcohol monitoring device within 48 hours of your release. And if you need a list of vendors, Ms. Soto can contact, you can contact Ms. Soto for that. And I do need a phone number for you.
Yes, Your Honor. It's 956-638-4504.
Okay, as to CR 1811848-I, State of Texas versus Julian Gutierrez Dominguez, on the motion to revoke, what is the state's recommendation?
Yes, Judge, state respectfully recommends a $100 fine plus court costs plus 100 days at Hidalgo County Jail, credit for 30 days as of today, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Bustos, any questions, or requests on behalf of your client?
Yeah, just consideration of court costs and fines and anything else the court can be lenient on, Judge.
Okay, so I'm going to waive the fine and the court costs. And as to the judgment, it's going to be 30 days Hidalgo County Jail, credit for 30 days. It'll be time served.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Dominguez, you have a lot to do when you get out, so make sure that you stay on it, okay?
I really appreciate it, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anything else on Mr. Dominguez?
No, Judge. May I be excused, Your Honor?
You certainly may.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Deputy, I believe that takes care of all your jail cases. Is that correct, Deputy?
That's correct. Thank you.
All right, you have a good day and thank you for your service, ma'am.
Likewise.
Okay. On CR 1706607-I, State of Texas versus Daniel Nava, it is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Yes, Judge, the defendant has been deported, so he would only be able to report via mail or Zoom. Therefore, the state is recommending an open plea. Respectively, the state recommends a $100 fine, court costs, 12 months deferred adjudication, an alcohol course, 90 days Texas driver license suspension, and an interlock device for the full term. Or alternatively, if the court is inclined, a $100 fine plus court costs plus 15 days at Hidalgo County Jail, credit for 1 day. That's all.
Okay, Ms. Garza, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. In this case, Mr. Nava, since his arrest and posting his bond, he was deported, Judge. He was here on a visa, and that was taken away from him. So he did come forward, wanted to take care of this. So I did speak to the prosecutor as to how we could take care of it without incurring any more expense, Judge. He is respectfully asking if Your Honor can consider a time served. I believe he was in jail. I believe it was 1 day. And rather, if we do the deferred, Judge, he's not going to be able to report or even do the interlock because I believe he's in Reynosa.
And Judge, the state's only concern with a time served would be the minimum statutory straight sentence would be 3 days.
Yes, that's the only thing, Ms. Garza, is that my hands are tied with respect to doing that, I can give, he can get credit for that 1 day, but he would still have the other 2 days pending. He does have to serve 3 days at least so that he can meet the straight sentence for a DWI as per the statute. So that's the only thing that that's what I would be able to do off the bench.
And Judge, if we were to do the deferred, does that work though, if he's not able to comply with the interlock? Or is he?
No, the way that I understand it is that
it's also mandatory, I believe.
Yes, it's mandatory. I mean, I'm assuming that what would happen is, unfortunately, the reality is that he's not going to be able to come back, because if he comes back, it would have to be to serve those other 2 days, and then for what? He's going to end up getting deported if he serves, so I really don't know how. The only thing that we can do on paper is just that, is to sentence him to 3 days Hidalgo County Jail, give him credit for 1, and I can waive the fine and the court costs, but the
if anything,
not going to reflect reality.
And I was going to say, if anything, if he does eventually is able to come back, then he's going to have those 2 days there pending.
Yes, they'll have those 2 days there pending, and then they're gonna deport him again. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying if he's able, Judge, to come back legally, is
he? Yes, if he's but the thing is I don't even know if he can come back legally with 2 days pending in the system.
Right, but what I'm saying, Judge, right now, because he has a warrant, since he wasn't able to come back, I think that prevents him from doing anything. So if he's eligible for anything, he may be able to come back legally and serve those 2 days.
Yes, possibly. Honestly, I don't know anything about immigration law, so that's the only thing I can say, is that the only thing I can do off the bench is waive his fine and court costs, sentence him to 3 days in Hidalgo County Jail, give him credit for 1, and he'll have those 2 days pending.
Okay, Judge, that'll work.
Okay, then that'll be the judgment of the court.
Okay, Judge, that's all I have this afternoon. May I be excused?
Yes, you and Mr. Nava are excused. Ms. Castañeda, please let him know.
Señor Nava, ya se puede retirar.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Yes,
Thank you.
okay, and CR 20-03663-I, State of Texas versus Orlando Ivan Reyes. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Yes, Judge, state respectfully recommends a $100 fine, court costs 2 months, deferred adjudication, and a drug education course.
Mr. Trejo, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
No, Judge, we're asking the court to follow the agreement.
Okay. Although, Mr. Reyes, there has been a finding of guilt, and you have pled guilty as a requirement of being placed on deferred, that finding will also be deferred to see if you successfully complete this program in the next 60 days.
Ma'am, I wanted to know because I work, so how can I do that?
Okay. You work out of town?
No, I work here in town. Like I work by military.
Okay, so what is it that you have problems doing?
Like what do I have to ask at work that I have to leave, or how?
No, Mr. Trejo will explain to you. The drug education course is online.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, what is the phone number for you?
It's 956-579-6920.
Okay, You'll have 90 days to pay the fine, 90 days to pay the court costs. The rest of the recommendation I will follow. You'll receive a phone call from probation department at their earliest convenience. Please make sure that you answer, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, anything else, Mr. Trejo?
No, Judge, may I be excused? May we
Yes,
be
sir,
excused?
you may, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, NCR 21-03138-I, State of Texas versus Juventino Sanchez. It is a judgment of the court, sir, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Yes, Judge, state recommends $200 fine, court costs 1 year, Howard County Jail, probated over 1 year, an alcohol course, mobile alcohol monitoring device for 6 months, MAD impact panel, and open restitution to David Guerrero.
Okay, Ms. De Ochoa, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Yes, Your Honor. If you can have a consideration for the court cost and the fine, and the alcohol monitoring device, if we can have it for 3 months. I'm not sure because he's had it since last year already, the alcohol monitoring device. He was PTD eligible. We did submit the packet, but because we couldn't get an ID because of his immigration status, we couldn't do the PTD program.
Okay, the mobile alcohol monitoring device is required for at least half the time of the probation. So I can't do it any lower than the 6 months. I can give him 90 days to pay the fine and 90 days to pay the court cost.
Okay. Your
And
Honor.
as to the restitution date here, the hearing date,
March the 10th at 9:30, Your Honor.
March 10th at 9:30. Ms. Castañeda, please let him know that he's to return on March 10th at 9:30.
Señor Sánchez, su próxima corte es el día 10 de marzo a las 9:30 de la mañana.
And I believe the state has an additional announcement as to his other offense.
Yes, Judge, pursuant to the plea deal, the state will be tendering a dismissal on CR 21-031399.
Okay, can you please ask him for his phone number?
Señor Sánchez, por favor, nos da su número de teléfono.
956-923-1616.
956-923-1616.
Ms.
Sí.
Soto, do you have a current report on Mr. Sanchez?
Yes, Judge, he has his mobile device with safety check and there's no violations.
Perfect. Okay, anything else, Ms. De Ochoa?
No, that's it, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, ma'am. You have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Ms. Castañeda, please let him know that he is excused.
Señor Sánchez, ya se puede retirar.
Gracias.
Thank you.
All right, on CR 21-02787-I, State of Texas versus Giselle Vasquez. It is a judgment of the court, ma'am, that you are guilty as charged. And what is the state's recommendation?
Yes, Judge, state recommends a $300 fine, court costs 180 days at Algo County Jail, probated over 1 year, repeat offender program, an interlock device for 6 months, 180 days Texas driver license suspension, and 72 hours Hidalgo County Jail post-conviction. An alcohol course was included as part of the recommendation, but an alcohol course is already part of the repeat offender program, so it can be waived by the court if the court is so inclined.
Okay, on Ms. Vasquez, I don't believe she's being ordered to go to the repeat offender program.
I'm sorry, Judge. I was reading. I'm so sorry, Judge. I was reading a recommendation for Mr. Torres.
Yes.
That scared me a little bit.
My apologies.
All right, so
Or-
just to be clear for Ms. Vasquez, go ahead and restate the recommendation.
Yes, excuse me. The recommendation for Ms. Vasquez, CR 21-02787-I, state recommends a $100 fine, court costs 14 months deferred adjudication, an alcohol course, defensive driving, mobile alcohol monitoring device for 14 months, MAD impact panel, and 90 days Texas driver license suspension.
Okay, Mr. Patino, any questions or requests on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, that is our understanding, but we ask that the court consider fine and court costs and the fact that Ms. Vasquez is currently working full-time, Judge. So we ask for consideration on the community service hours.
Okay, she wasn't ordered to do any,
Oh, I thought she was, sir. I'm sorry, Judge.
unless they're part of the deferred conditions.
Not that the state is aware of, Judge. No,
Okay.
there's no CSRs recommended.
Right, no CSRs were recommended for Ms. Vasquez. Okay, so she'll have 90 days to pay the fine, 90 days to pay the court costs. I'll run her 90-day Texas driver's license suspension concurrent with any suspension that she may have administratively. The rest of the recommendation I will follow. Ms. Vasquez, you have 48 hours to obtain your mobile alcohol monitoring device. And those are 48 business hours, okay?
Actually, I already have it. I had it for a year already.
Okay, Ms. Soto, who does she have it with?
Judge has her mobile device with Lifesaver and there's no violations.
Okay, then let me ask you this. On a deferred, does she have to have it as per the DA's request for the whole time, or can it also be for half the time?
That's my understanding, Judge, that it has to be the full term. Statutorily, I think it's still half. You have, I believe, the discretion to lower it to half, but per our policy, it is a full term for deferred adjudication.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because I know that your policy can be more stringent than the statute, and of course I respect that because they know when they're signing up for that, what it is. So that's why I'm at, if it's the DA's policy or if there's leeway. I don't know if Ms. Lozano is available to answer that question for me.
Yes, Judge, that's correct. As per the statute, it's half the time. As per our policy, it's full term.
Okay, do we have the discretion to change it, or because they've already signed up for that, they have to go with the full time?
No, Judge, you do have the discretion.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
No
Ms.
problem.
Vasquez, how long have you had your alcohol monitoring device?
I've had it for exactly a year.
Okay, then I'm going to order that mobile alcohol monitoring device only be for another 7 months instead of the 14 months. And that's because you had 0 violations. If you have violations, I also have the option if they decide to revoke this, to add, okay?
Okay.
All right, what's your phone number?
956-330-3102.
Okay, 956-330-3102. All right. Okay, anything else, Mr. Patino?
Nothing for Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good day, Judge.
Thank you, you too, Ms. Vasquez. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go. Did anybody call in on number 1?
Your Honor, number 1, the defendant did call in. It was my mistake, Judge. I did not send him the link, but he has been in contact with the court, so I'll reset him, Judge.
Okay.
And I can reset him, Judge, to whatever date you'd like, Your Honor.
Well, the thing is I'm not sure. I guess we can reset him to the 22nd. You want to do that?
Yes.
Okay. And are we doing 9:30 or 1:30?
It'll be at 1:30, Judge.
Okay. Okay, number 18. Did anybody call in for that? I think Ms. Abundes has been on.
Judge, I do have, I had an email that she was in another court from her staff and that she would be logging in as soon as she was done. She was in the juvenile court.
Oh, okay. Ms. Abundes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, your attorney is in another court right now, and we've already concluded our docket. So we're gonna go ahead and move you to February the 15th at 1:30 so we can get you placed, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thank you for logging on.
Thank you.
Okay, did we get any call for number 21?
Judge, his companion cases are set for next Tuesday, the 15th.
Okay, number 22?
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
Did anybody have anything on that one? Okay, and I do see Mr. Ovando on. Mr. Ovando, have you been in contact with your attorney? You're on mute, sir.
No, no tiene contacto con mi abogado.
Okay, Ms. Castañeda, ask him if Mr. De La Fuente is still representing him.
Señor Obando, ¿todavía lo representa el abogado De La Fuente?
Sí. Sí.
Yes.
Okay, tell him to let them know that he has been, I'm going to set him for a status because somehow I don't think this is ready for a plea. So tell him that he'll have a status hearing on, do we have a morning docket on the 22nd?
Yes, Judge, we do.
Okay, tell him that he'll come back on February the 22nd at 9:30 for a status hearing, and please let Mr. De La Fuente's office know as well.
Ok, la corte le va a dar otra fecha para el día 22 de febrero a las 9:30 de la mañana. Y por favor le avisa a su abogado.
Ok, porque él me avisó que tiene la corte ahora.
Because he
Yes.
told me I had court today.
Let him know that yes, he does. However, his attorney has not been able to log in, and we are already at the end of our docket.
Mr. Obando sí tenía corte hoy, pero su abogado no se ha presentado y ya estamos al final de nuestra lista.
Ok, entonces va a ser para febrero 22 a las 9:30.
Sí.
Febrero 22, 9:30. Ok, está muy bien.
February 22nd at 9:30, it's fine.
Okay, let him know he's excused.
Ya se puede retirar.
Ok, gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, what about number 30 and 31?
30 and 31. Judge, I don't know. They didn't make contact with their office. We don't have a reset for them.
Okay, Mr. Munoz is logging on. Mr. Munoz, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we have concluded our docket. And we don't have your client on, Luis Daniel Torres.
Okay.
So is he ready for a plea? Is his paperwork ready?
Yes, Your Honor, and if I might recall, it's because we were having outstanding complaining witness who had filed for affidavit with the DA's office.
Okay, but I also I needed him present because he never called probation, and as far as we know, he hasn't gotten his device. So I'm gonna require him to be in person on February the 17th at 1:30.
All right. February 17th at 1:30.
Yes. So if you can get a hold of him, let him know. And that would require somebody from your office also to be present in person. Okay,
Yes, Your Honor.
okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, on number 34 and 35, did anybody call in?
I didn't see, Judge, but let me double check.
Okay,
No, ma'am.
okay. So I have the defendant for number 34 and 35, and also the defendant for number 22. Mr. Damian, can you please call out their names?
Yes, ma'am. Jorge Miguel Gonzalez, Jorge Gonzalez, Jorge Gonzalez. Enrique Verial, Enrique Verial, Enrique Verial.
Okay, can you, what does the state say of that no-show defendant?
Yes, Judge, they requested judgment NICI be granted, capias issued, and all bonds forfeited for these no-show defendants.
Okay, and that'll be granted. Anything else?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Okay, let me go ahead and stop